Alright everyone, before we get into today's video, there is some good news. I just need to share with you. Ding dong, the Grizda is gone. And not only has he gone, he's left with a sell-on clause. Ross Wilson, well done sir, well done. Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video, we are here to turn our attention away from players leaving the football club. Just like my last upload where we talked about 6 players leaving, we're turning that on its head, ladies and gentlemen, because there is one player and one Rangers rumour that just will not go away, and is this going to be our first signing of the decade? But before we get to the old player himself, as always, a quick little shout out to the channel sponsors themselves, OneFootball. They are legends, they've been really helping the channel out, so if you want a free footballing app, the link will be down there in the description below. But as it has been a little while since our last Rangers rumour video, let's just get right to it then, shall we? And beyond the clickbaits of your Giroud to Rangers or your Dwight Gale to Rangers, which is just mythical BS nonsense, there is one name that's been quietly in the middle of those two clickbait names that's just not going anywhere, and that's Mostafa Mohamed. Now, unlike those other rumours where there's absolutely nothing apart from just being linked with Rangers to sell a few clicks, it's been reported that in the last 48 hours there's been a loan bid of 500k with a look to make up that permanent at the end of that loan for £1.5 million. That is apparently an offer Rangers sent to them and they have rejected. But before we go down that rabbit hole and discuss with each other whether or not we believe this to be true, let's just look at the player himself to see if it should be. And starting off with his player profile then, shall we? He is a 22-year-old international Egyptian striker who is 6'1" and is listed as being right-footed. Now I find that very interesting because when looking into this lad and reading the match reports and translating a lot of what the fans have to say about him, it seems like he's very well balanced in both feet and a threat from either side. The best way to probably sum up is, you know how Alfredo Morelos looks very comfortable on either side and he can rattle it, and sometimes you think to yourself, is he left-footed? I think it's a wee bit like this laddie, very talented with both feet. And regarding his playstyle, by the way, one of the main plaudits that this guy constantly gets, besides the fact that he's very comfortable on either foot, is his quickness and his initial burst to get away from defenders. That is something that he seems to have in his locker, along with the ability to hold up the ball. He currently plays over in the Egyptian league for Zamalek. Now I do apologise about that pronunciation and probably the pronunciation all the way through today's video. I'm not trying to be smart, I'm not trying to be clever, I'm just dumb, so I can't say it. But truly terrible pronunciation to one side then, let's get back to the man himself. Now, he has played 15 times so far this season with 6 goals and 1 assist to his name. Now again, those stats aren't as impressive compared to the Wikipedia page that this man has, as it's been incredibly edited by who knows who, with crazy goals per game ratio that makes this man look like a cheat code. But still, 22 years old when he's not starting every game is not too bad considering. And when you look beyond the initial stats, it kind of shows that because he's played 82% in the league so far this season. He's not starting every game, but he still has a very, very impressive 4 goals in those 10 appearances that he's made in the league. And when you look at the cup football, he's only played 60% of that as well, playing 5 games and having 2 goals and 1 assist to his name. Which means if you take just a step back and you just crunch all the numbers, he is still averaging a goal every 187 minutes. Again, which isn't that bad. Now, we mentioned earlier on in today's video that he's an Egyptian international playing alongside the Liverpool legend himself, Salah, who is truly incredible both for club and country. Now, he hasn't scored or assisted yet, but in his 2 games, he's certainly done enough to show promise. And again, the media reports in both those appearances that he has made were very, very promising. And when you take a step back away from this season and you just look at this man's overall footballing CV, at the age of just 22 years old, he has played 87 games. He has 29 goals under his belt and 8 assists as well. That's pretty good, but it's also worth mentioning that he's clocked up 11 yellow cards as well, as he likes to get involved in all aspects of the game. Now, jumping over and doing what we always do whenever we talk about a player potentially joining Rangers, let's look at the competition Mohamed could face if he joined Rangers, and unluckily for him, it just happens to be the 2 best strikers in the country, Alfredo Morelos and Jermaine Defoe. Syrian. But all joking on that aside, I do think it would be a good idea bringing in another young, hungry striker who can learn from the likes of Alfredo Morelos. I know there's no a big age difference here, but you can learn a lot from someone as talented as that, and I'll tell you someone else you can learn from, Jermaine Defoe, who's been there and done it all in the game of football. That to me makes more sense than going away and bringing someone from the Championship or League One, but 29, 30-year-old who's going to be wanting to play games. This guy will come here, learn and be there for the future. Because as much as we love Jermaine Defoe, and he is definitely signing for Rangers at the end of the season. He won't be here forever, so having another young, hungry, talented player there to take that mantle when Jermaine Defoe does decide to become a coach just for Rangers and hang up the old boots, to me, makes a hell of a lot of sense, and we're finally doing what we've been wanting to do for a very long time, and that's having the replacements ready to take the mantle when a big player does leave. But with all that being said, that's us all done and dusty for this man's player profile, so that's hopefully you now learning a little bit more about the laddie. But before we finish up and give our opinions on whether or not we think we should sign him, let's actually address the old matter of facts and whether or not Rangers are even looking at this laddie. What's been going on? Why is this guy constantly linked with Rangers? And the way it sort of came about is it was reported that Rangers were very interested in looking at this player. Then within 48 hours after the first initial story of Rangers' interest, this man handed in a transfer request which was swiftly rejected by the club, and they came out and said he's got 18 months on his contract and he's no gone anywhere, which is pretty much a chairman saying despite handing in a transfer request, despite no being happy and wanting to leave, you're not going to get him for cheap, whoever you may be. And within that time frame as well, that is when the apparent loan bid from Rangers with the permanent transfer at the end of it apparently happened. Now, I think it's important to mention, not only has Rangers not confirmed or denied this, but neither has the club. The club has confirmed there is interest in the laddie, but they have not mentioned that they've received any bids as of when I'm currently recording today's video. So to me, it looks like the loan bid with the permanent transfer seems to have just been made up. So you pair that with the fact that both the director of football and the gaffer himself have both stated that this transfer window for Rangers is more about trimming down the squad rather than bringing in people, just makes me think that despite being around for a long time, there isn't anything in this lad. It could just be agent talking because the guy wants a move. But I've got to say, I hope I'm kind of wrong, because after looking into this guy's career and using Google Translate for the last 48 hours just to get my notes for today's video, he seems to tick a lot of boxes that we need going forward, and he seems like a very, very talented football, especially just being only 22 years old. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is every bit of information that is out there regarding the player himself. So now that I am done and dusty for today's video, I'm going to hand the reins over to you guys, and I just want to ask you two simple questions. One, do you think this guy is worth signing? Now you know a little bit more about him. Should Rangers go ahead and sign him if it was up to you? And two, do you believe this to be true? While you guys are sharing your opinions, we'll jump over to the people and over to the nation on Twitter. Then there's been 1,623 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. Now, I asked them the exact same question as I asked you. Should Rangers sign this laddie? And with 81% of the vote, the people vote yes. So let's see what they've had to say then. First one comes in from Thomas Lee. No clue who he is, but 22 years old isn't bad. Could be a good choice for a second/third striker. Next up we have Bob Steele, and he writes in, well, he's a striker, so that's definitely a plus point. Otherwise, I know very little about the guy, so looking forward to your breakdown of the player's profile in today's video, CJ. Well, thank you so much, Bob. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more about him. Otherwise, I've failed as always. Next one comes in from Sarah_03. Says, could develop him into a better player and would eventually leave as a backup striker, but wouldn't say we desperately need him. Sparks Photography writes in, a young striker in to learn from Defoe and Big Buff. Hopefully kicks on for next season. Think this is a must, CJ, especially if the Buff goes in the summer. He's not going anywhere. He's not leaving, okay? Next up we have Callum Cale, and he writes in, never heard of him, but we do need a backup, CJ. Kerr James Armstrong writes in, looking at his stats, I say hell yes. The kid is an impressive player and is very capable of scoring goals, which could be very handy for us in the upcoming fixtures. Matthew Winters writes in, if Defoe isn't getting another contract, then yes, but if he's getting an extension, then I'd say wait at least until next season for another striker, which is fair enough, mate. Graham Dirty writes in, fits our new profile, young, good goal scoring record, and wouldn't cost too much, and we can sell him for much higher.
Subscribe to Grant the Grafter.
Apologies for the jump cut here in today's video, by the way. I'm supposed to be playing golf with Grant the Grafter, and I'm running late because I'm doing this, so I just had to deal with that little bit of vocab that I got for Grant. But anyway, let's carry on with today's video. Mike.G writes in, don't know much about him to be honest, CJ, but if Gerrard likes him, I'll take his word. Next up we have Rabbi WWB, and he writes in my opinion we must sign another striker soon, and he looks decent, CJ, maybe another buff, so why not? Happy New Year, CJ, and to all of your followers. We are the people. Shout out to Rab there, by the way, for writing in. A very happy New Year to you and your family as well, mate. Andy of Glasgow writes in, he's the hottest prospect in Africa at the moment, and Africa is a huge ass continent, sorry, I nearly said consonant there because of the career mode jokes, but he finishes off by saying he's definitely worth taking the risk, as this is the type of gem our scouting department are paid to find. I quite like that last little sentence there, mate. I quite like that all day. Petro Selly writes in, looks very much a promising player in the mould of Alfredo Morelos, so if we can get him for a reasonable fee, then we should definitely bring him in. 6 months to adapt to the SPFL, and then we'll hopefully see him take over the lead role when Morelos moves to the EPL. I'm not having this, alright? I'm not having the Morelos leaving talk. And for a perfect transition, the last one we'll read out in tonight's video comes from Morelos is a bear, alright? He's a bear, so he's not leaving. But Morelos is a bear writes in, he's a fantastic player, he's got skill, he's got speed, he's both footed, and he's got heading ability as well. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've heard from the people, you've heard from myself, you may or may not have even heard from Grant the Grafter telling me to move my Jacksy. But as always, I've been SageAnOver92, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one, which should be the Rangers career mode. Thank you, and bye.